this is a beast of a record. It's long. No, no pun intended. You know, you can't talk about the intentionally most obscene record ever made without some double entendres, and no pun intended. It's really long. I'm willing to bet that most people know the Two Live Crew for one song, Me So Horny, and don't realize that this is an 80-minute record. And it is. It's a beast of an album. It's a lot to get through. And, you know, there's a couple of reasons why I picked it up. And one is the novelty factor. It is the Two Live Crew. And, you know, as nasty as they want to be, Me So Horny came out when I was 2 years shy of, I guess I was 9 or 10 when it came out. A couple years shy of being quite horny myself. We all remember it when it dropped, and the controversy that it started. And so that's kind of why I picked it up. It's fun to have in the collection because of its history mainly. But as I started doing this project, I was going to start, you know, I said I'm going to sit down and listen to the whole thing. And I listened to Me So Horny when I bought it. It's not a record that I put on to, like, you know, oh, it's time to make dinner. I'm going to put on As Nasty as They Want to Be. I'm going to clean the house. Even though that's what I did today while I was listening to it, is putting the apartment together. And I said, you know, I want to talk about my records, and I might as well listen to them all the way through, because there are some that I haven't. So in order to be fair, I gave it a full listen today, and I don't think I've ever made it through the whole thing. And today I did, and I'm prepared to talk about it. And I want to predicate this subject by stating I am well aware, okay? And I think everybody is pretty sure that these guys didn't get together to write this album and have it be recorded in the annals of history. This record was never intended to be, you know, on the shelves of the Library of Congress of some shining example of music or art, you know. So I know that. And I like Blue. I can do Blue. I love Andrew Dice Clay. The dude's fucking hilarious. The problem when it comes to music is, you know, you're watching a stand-up comedian, jokes are jokes, and they fly by, and you're entertained, and you're laughing. The problem with listening to fuck music is it just, for me, it kind of wears thin. But I know what this is, and I'm not expecting anything else. Like, you put on an NWA record, that's a real punk rock record. They're talking about the shittiness of their community. They're talking about, you know, how the difficulties in just, you know, living daily life, waking up and going to the store can get you killed, which is still happening today. And so, you know, I'm not listening to this for any of that. It's party music, and that's what it's intended to be, and you shouldn't expect much else out of it. So that's how I went into listening to this album. But, you know, I liked it. I liked it a lot. Outside of, you know, just after an hour of, you know, hearing about, you know, how we're going to fuck, and, you know, who we're going to fuck, and, you know, how many we're going to fuck, it gets kind of in the head. But, you know, in all honesty, listening to the record, it's pretty decent 808 Roland hip-hop, which is what hip-hop was in the late 80s and early 90s. Thinking Tone Loc, Salt and Pepper, you know, much more of the mainstream acts and everything. It's not that bad. And I had to look up some reviews of it to see, well, what did people actually think about this? Because I'm actually not, like, I'm not dismissing it at all. This is actually pretty cool. And so I looked at their reviews, and it did. It got a lot of 3 and 4s. Nobody said, excellent, and, you know, this deserves all the Grammys, but it has a steady, consistent, you know, C. It's a C plus record. It's good. It's a little bit better than good. And it is. It really is. For a party record, it is. But for me, if you're going to come up and call the thing as nasty as they want to be, and you are on this mission to make the most intentionally obscene album of all time, and that's stated quite clearly, I gotta call you out on it. It just gets fucking old. And like, you're just, at some point, you're like, do you think about anything else? You know what I mean? I mean, do you have anything else to offer? No, they don't. At least not on this record. They don't. I mean, I don't know the guys personally, but they don't. It's about fucking, and which is fine. I mean, you know, look, who among us under the microscope is perfect? You know what I mean? I like fucking. I'm sure most people do. It's what it's one of the very few things we're actually here to do. Shelter, eat, and fuck. That's what it's part of the human experience. It's a huge part of the human experience. So, but I mean, you know, if that's all you got going for you eventually, but the beats though, the mixing and the things they come up with were really kind of clever. I only know that one song is an Eddie Van Halen song because of the reviews, but as I'm listening to it, and they actually have The Man Machine by Kraftwerk is one of the beats. You know, like, number one, I don't know if Luke Skywalker was into Kraftwerk and he said, dude, I got to get that beat on a track, or a producer showed it to him. Either way, he liked it and he included it. So I think that's interesting. And, you know, as the record goes on, there's more interesting things like that and different types of melodies. It's all, they made a huge deal of it about a lot of this record being stolen and sampled. And I don't know why Paul's Boutique, one of the legitimately greatest albums ever made, is nothing but stolen samples. So I don't know why they kind of pegged him with that, because that's what was happening in the scene back then. So anyway, the album itself, it's divided into 4 sections, I guess. There's four dudes in the Two Live Crew, and each side is dedicated to one of them. And the Luke Skywalker side is the most impressive. I don't know if it was like he raps the most on here, so that's why it's in his section, or he came up with the beat itself, and that's why on his section. But the Luke Skywalker section is the strongest. And the weakest, I think, was side 3, which is yeah, Marquee. I knew that stood out in my head. It just, you know, there's no cleverness to it. That's the trick with working with blues. You got to be clever to keep it going. And I don't think they had the rest of the group kind of had the intelligence that Luke Skywalker displayed. And yeah, he's talking about fucking, and that's all he's talking about. But there is a clever, humorous way to talk about it if that's what's going to be your subject, and he did it very well. It just kind of goes down in quality till the end. So that's how I kind of feel about the album. There's Mr. Mix's side, and he kind of goes on to more of the hip-hoppy thing, and the beats are good, and it's late 80s hip-hop, and it's good, and it bounces, and it's fun. And then side D is Kid Ice, I guess, him. And it really just falls apart at that point. It's deep into the album. It's just starting to play on you. You're like at minute 63 in this beast. And it's just, it's old at that point. And there's still some inventiveness and some creativity to what they're doing, but it's just been so long. You've heard about sex for an hour. For me, at least, it's just kind of tiresome, you know, so I think it's a C+. I think it deserves that. And if you like 80s hip-hop, party rap, then I think it's an essential addition to your collection. The other reason that I bought it outside of the novelty is because it's an important record. And I think if you're into music, this should be a record that you have. It was the first piece of musical art, and only to be deemed illegal to listen to. The United States government actually said, you cannot own this record, you're breaking the law. And a record shop owner was arrested for selling the record. And that's bullshit. And I think you should keep it for that aspect alone. You know, me, I'm not going to. But if some dude like wants to drive around in his car, you know, blasting fuck shop, you know, and pick up easy ladies and have sex, and who the fuck am I to say he can't do that? And more importantly, who are you to be so concerned with the fact that he's doing that? Okay, I want to go to the fuck shop. I mean, don't, you know, do you want to go to the fuck shop with me? You want to come? I mean, see, I think that was only a second. Where are we at? Oh, we're at like 10 minutes, only 2 innuendos. That was pretty good. So I think from a historical point of view, it's an important addition to have in your collection. The moral majority got up in arms. And I think, like, even in the decision itself, the judge said, like, it's music for the loins and not for the mind. And it's like, that's what some of us do, you know what I mean? We can't all be like Albert Einstein inventing shit and like designing blueprints. Some of us, you know, work a blue collar job and go home and fuck our ladies, dude. That's, you know, they need music too. And I think it's also, you know, that stopped, you know what I mean? Because what they found out is if you're going to ban a piece of music and you're going to put this little sticker on it, I don't know about you, but I mean, I know for a fact that the majority is going to say, oh, dude, I'm buying that. You know what I mean? The president doesn't want me to have this. Yeah, nothing's more American than having it. So I would pick it up for that reason, just as kind of a mini protest. And, you know, if you like hip hop rap, I'd pick it up too. If you can stand the, you know, the constant, like, we're going to fuck, you know, it's all right. It's decent. It's an average C plus. I'm not going to sell it. I'm going to hold on to it. And this is a pretty cool record. It's a two-sided. It's some anniversary reissue. And you see they're in Miami on the beach with the ladies and their thongs. And then one record is orange and one record is green. So it's a real nice presentation. It's a nice package. It's a decent record. I mean, why the fuck not, dude? You know, the Two Live Crew, as nasty as they want to be. I'd pick it up. I'd listen to it once every couple of years, and maybe if I get into some serious macking one night, I'll drop it on and see how it works, but I don't think it's going to happen. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Go get it. I think you should get it. I think you should own it. I think it's an okay record to own. I'll talk to you later.
What the fuck is your name, motherfucker? Long Rock. Stiff Peter. I'm gonna let you guys in on a private personal part of my life. And ladies, listen up, I may just save your relationship. Ain't